Next thing I want to do is talk a little bit about costing. Any of you that have professional or premium SOLIDWORKS seats have SOLIDWORKS costing. Now, costing up until this point has been really just relegated to things like a sheet metal part, fold, unfold. There's dollars associated with the lengths of the cuts, so inside and outside water jet or plasma type cuts. And then what a fold or a bend is going to cost. So you can set up templates in order to analyze things relative to that. But also machine parts, and those could be milled or turned parts. But they have to do with the comparison of how long it takes, so speed and feed rates come into play, and then the amount of material consumed and the amount of scrap as a result of that. And those are generally what the costing applications do. And we set up a couple of templates in order to have some of your internal costs really specific to your needs and capabilities. Well, this time around, costing has really opened up a lot into what it can actually do. What we can now do is costing of weldment. These weldments are going to associate things like the length of a piece of structural steel with the types of stock that you might keep on the shelf. Might be comparing a particular length of a square tube to an 8-foot stock length that you might have. Therefore, if it's over half, then you can't use two of those or one of those to make two pieces, so you'd end up with a scrap value with those. But there's a lot of things that go into making these templates, and we ship some default ones that all you have to do is tweak and customize them to your particular costing needs. So we do that with the weldments, but we now also do the costing of a cast component. A cast component's going to have much less scrap because it's not taking a block of steel and then milling it down in order to create a part that looks like this. It's going to be, more about the residuals that we have over here, maybe some of the extra materials that we need in order to fill a cast. But there's some other material utilizations and time and material costing values associated with that. Now, we also do the machine parts as well, but we can now compare those machine parts to a stock body, something other than, say, plate steel, bar steel, or a block steel. You can actually use the cast component as your stock body, and obviously that's going to have a big effect on how much scrap you have, since we're only going to be cleaning up a few holes and maybe some datum faces, but not necessarily machining this from a solid block of material. So great little enhancement there. We're also doing costing of 3D printed designs as well as plastic injection molded designs, and both of those have different types of scrap. 3D printers have consumables, generally in the form of a support material. Each material has a different way that it's either removed or broken away from the parts, but that's going to be a scrap cost. And then you also have plastic injection molding, where their scraps would come from things like the runners and screws. But injection time, part material utilization, all of those kind of things are going to play into the costing setups of those. So that'll get more and more traction as people start to utilize it. But the key to this is if you spend even a few hours a week trying to estimate the costs on parts that are similar to ones you've done before, I'd recommend you take that time and maybe either explore or set up the templates to associate with what you do, and then maybe that time will then lead to something where it's just a button pick away from a cost estimate instead of those couple of hours repetitively week after week. So if it is a significant part of your business, you can get a handle on that with the software you already own.